Yeah.
But when I became a police officer and I had that peyote ceremony, I have not drank since. And I don't drink. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't use drugs. I don't even like take medication. But
Okay.
I have to if I really need to.
Yeah.
But everything's always natural for me. And then my parents taught us about our Navajo way of life, our Navajo traditions, our Navajo culture, our Navajo medicine men. You know, live your life that way. And my mom never preached to us about religion. She said, have faith. You're a five-fingered person. Have faith and use that.
So they're pretty much saying you don't rely on organized religion. You just rely on everything around you.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And that's how we are as Navajos.
Yeah.
Look at how many plants are out here. Sagebrush right here. You can use that to open up your sinuses. Boil it, drink it, open your sinuses. Pinon trees, you know, what is it? Sage, cedar, you know, there's all kinds of medicine out there, natural medicines out there that we can use. And this all comes from the earth, from Mother Earth. So that's how I was raised, and that's how Eugene was raised. So when we have, I have high blood pressure. So he gets medicine from, what do you call them, medicine lady, the herbalist.
Herbalist, yeah.
Herbalist.
Yeah.
And he'll only get it from one person, this only one herbalist he trusts. Even our tobacco.
Okay.
Even our tobacco.
Yeah, the mountain tobacco and everything.
Our mountain tobacco, he'll only get it from her.
And then that's a lot of teachings he got from Crystal.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And he grew up with his grandparents, so his grandma taught him all that. And so I'm fortunate that he has that. So that's how I raise my children. Have faith, know who you are, where you come from, where your home is, between the four sacred mountains, appreciate it. And then when my kids, they get really, and Gene has 7 kids, I have 3. And on his side, the kids have kids. So I tried to instill in his daughter, because she has twin girls, and she has a little Che. So I try to instill in her, bring them home, because sometimes she'll get so stressed out, she'll get so, you know, of city life. So I tell her, I said, bring them home, give them to me for the summer. Take them to Crystal, let them herd sheep. Let them learn from their grandparents up there, and trust me, they'll appreciate it, and they'll have a broader outlook. They live over there, but they also need to know who they are and where they come from. But I'm still trying to get her to let them take them.
Just take that chance.
Yeah, just to spend some time with them, especially having twin girls.
Yeah.
You know, in our stories,
Yeah.
twin boys, and how precious twins are, and how powerful they are as twins. You know, so we have that in our own family. So you have to appreciate that, and you have to be reverent of it, you know, and understand what it means. And I don't know a whole lot, and that's where Gene has helped me with our history, our history of our culture, our history of even our government, even with our treaty, you know, everything, our government, how it came from. So about 2016, I never really got involved in politics, never really cared for politics. I just voted because it was my right, and that's the freedom I have. And of course, got registered as a Democrat because that's. So I always exercised my right to vote, but I never got involved in it, never learned about the candidates, because I was a police officer. All I cared about was enforcing the law, upholding the law, getting, you know, people to be, how do they say it? Bring peace back into the family. Restore the peace, restore the harmony in the family. That's what we do. That's why our motto is to protect and serve. Protect. Yeah, we may have to protect you from yourself. We may have to protect you from your family. We may have to protect you from the outside world. And I took that, we take an oath, and that's a promise. That's a promise to uphold the laws of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, the U.S. Constitution, and the United States. It's a promise that I made over 30 years ago. I still live my life that way. I still live by that promise I made. Drives me nuts when people run a red light, when people speed, when people pass without signaling.
Well, then stay out of Albuquerque. There's a lot of red. All right. A PSA if you're traveling to Albuquerque. When the light turns green, you wait 5 to 10 seconds till all the cars are done running red light. Then you can go. So be safe.
Starman. Ever seen that movie, Starman?
Yeah.
Remember, he says yellow means go faster.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Yellow means slow down
Yeah.
because it's turning red.
Vehicles
Sure.
who don't have handicap placards parking in handicapped spaces.
That's another, it's not for anybody. It doesn't mean because you have a broken ankle, a sprained ankle, a hurt hip. It means handicap.
Speeding through
School
zones. Kiddos in school zones. Even before I did, that always drove me nuts.
Yes.
If you are speeding through it, you're a jerk or you are behind schedule.
Yes. Or you're on your phone and they're in front of you. They're still sitting there after it turns green.
Yeah.
They're on their phone.
Or you're a cautious driver in Albuquerque waiting for the red light runners to be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, people, slow down.
Yeah,
If you're late, you're late. There's nothing you can do about it.
It's only like 2 or 3 minutes at the light. 2 or 3 minutes at the light waiting, or 2 to 3 months in a hospital, or possibly in jail.
Yes. Yeah, those are my pet peeves too. You know, especially when it comes to saving your life or saving someone else's life.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, really quick, again, drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Because I lost my oldest brother that way. My oldest brother drank, and he smoked marijuana, because this was back in probably the early 70s. I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
So he was drinking and driving, and he was with his friends. He crossed the center line, hit head on with someone, lost his own life. And the lady, I always remember my mom telling me, the lady who he hit wanted to sue her and get money from her for the accident.
Yeah.
So my mom told her, why do you want to take more away from me? My son is already dead. What more do you want?
Yeah.
So I guess she backed off.
Yeah.
So those are, things I've learned in my life too, and seen as a police officer. I've seen death, I've touched death. I know what death feels like. I do.
So, being a police officer with all that intimate information, what's something that the new candidates need to be, what
I need to be prepared for?
Yes. That's something that you've seen as a trend of they get caught by surprise.
The written exam. They're not prepared because they don't read. They may read, but they're not proficient at reading.
Oh.
And what I learned as a trainer, this was back in the 90s, that when we had that police officer's test, it used to be a little bit harder than it is now, but I've learned that the reading level to pass a written exam for a police officer should be high school, should be 12th grade.
Yeah.
But we found with our police academy way back in the 90s, our reading level for our cadets was at the 8th grade reading level.
Wow.
So that's what that's what hampered them the most.
Wow. That's
and
crazy.
you got to get at least, what was it? I think it was 75% on the test to pass. So that's what really hurts them. And it hurts them more now, because what do you see young people doing now? Do you see them carrying a book, or do you see them carrying a phone?
Phone. It's always a phone. They're carrying mini computers.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that. I mean, we're cyborgs.
Yeah.
Right? We're half machine, half humans now, because
that's much easier.
Yeah, it's easier. Makes things more efficient.
And it's, what did they say? This is what they said when technology came. It's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You don't have to look in a book. You don't have to go to a library. You don't have to read something. Get your information online. But that's hurting us. Because our children don't read. And reading, yes, is fundamental.
Yeah.
Reading develops your speaking skills, your communication skills. It develops your spelling. It develops your grammar. It develops your
handwriting.
Your handwriting. I'm seeing and research and stories online that our kids can't write anymore. They can't. They don't even know what is it?
Cursive.
Cursive is.
Yeah.
They can't sign their name. They don't know how to write. They don't know how to write in cursive.
And from what my oldest told us is that he was taught cursive in 2nd or 3rd grade, and that's it. But they don't keep it
They
continuing.
don't keep it up?
Yeah, because it's not required in other classes.
Who was it when Bush was in president and he signed that No Child Left Behind Act?
Yeah.
That's where that came from. Because I used to teach the drug abuse resistance education program,
Yeah.
the prevention program, and I used to teach Dare and Great in the schools.
Yeah, yeah.
So they started it out at middle school level, and then they expanded the program to high school and elementary. So that's probably about the time that No Child Left Behind Act came in.
Yeah, I remember that.
So when I started going into the schools, into the classrooms, and working with the teachers were telling me they had no time for anything except the requirements of No Child Left Behind. So that has really hurt us since it's come out.
Yeah.
And I also learned when I became a police officer and I worked my way up to being in leadership, I was really fortunate when I became lieutenant that my chief of police sent me to this training by Stephen Covey. Being organized, setting your priorities, knowing how to do it in a book, a planner, or being a planner, and organizing your day.
Yeah.
And how to get things done, be more efficient, be more proactive in your work. So I've carried that with me the last, 25 years,
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
And that's how I set my priorities. That's how I set my goals. That's how I know where I'm at. We worked on the elections this past year. So at the end of the year, after the elections and everything, I was like, I'm taking a break. In that class, what it taught was not to compromise, but to make it a win-win situation. So you both sit down like you and I. We've been trying to get this done since November, October? Yeah, we've been trying to
Yeah, we've been trying to. So
get together.
little sneak peek behind Spagoshi interviews. It doesn't happen like this. There you go. Dry. And then a lot of my interviews take months. There's some right now. It's about going into a year and a half, and so it's perseverance.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just perseverance.
So it took me a while to respond to him. He was probably getting frustrated. I wouldn't doubt it.
It's like a cold call. So I don't expect anybody to respond back. And honestly, it does take months.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So that's where the Stephen Covey training I took and how they say make it a win-win situation is you both sit down and say, okay, when do you have time open? When do I have time open?
Yeah.
And you get together and make it happen. But you got to prioritize it.
Yeah.
So this should have been an A, and it was an A for me. It should have been an A for me, but it ended up being a C. And then it became a B. Now it's an A after October, November, December, after 3 months.
Yeah.
We finally got it done.
Yeah.
Only because I didn't write it down. Only because I didn't put it on my to-do list. Do it. Don't just talk about it. And that's what I learned. That's where the light bulb went on about Nike. And just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
5 years later.
5 years later, 6 months later.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's what Nike means.
Yeah.
And I've tried to live that way the past probably 5 years. What is my purpose? Because in law enforcement, I had a purpose, protecting my people, educating them, keeping them safe, serving them. That was my purpose in helping them. Then when I left law enforcement, I went into transportation, I went into social services, I went into training, I went into all these different fields, and I was happy doing them. But what made me unhappy was the leadership.
Yeah.
And that was what I learned too, is leadership is very, very important.
Yeah.
Having the skills, having the knowledge, having the training, and then when you talk about skills and leadership, you should be willing to mentor, you should be willing to share your knowledge, you should be willing to support your people and encourage them and give your knowledge to them. If you're not willing to do those things, why are you in leadership?
Yeah.
If you're just going to be there to boss somebody around and say, oh, I got the title, you do as I say, not as I do, then you shouldn't be in leadership.
Well, even like, it's leadership even like as a medicine man, right?
And that is kind of a special teaching too. You got to have somebody who's interested.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody who has, well, in law enforcement we call it sixth sense.
Oh, sixth sense.
Sixth sense, to know that, okay, this guy's going to carry on my teachings, because what I was taught, even me, what I was taught as a police officer, I don't give it to everybody.
Yeah.
And I can't, because there's certain people who can do it, certain people who can't.
Mm-hmm.
And the medicine man's the same way. And that's what they say and mean by we're losing that knowledge and that base, because our medicine men are there, but there's nobody to meet them halfway. There's very few people, young women, young men, who can speak Navajo, who can sing the songs, who can understand the prayers, who actually have it in their heart and in their mind that they want to be a medicine man. Because it takes a lot of training. It takes many years of training and dedication. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's the same way with law enforcement. Yeah, it's a sacrifice you have to make. Same thing with law enforcement. Got to make that sacrifice. You asked earlier, what could our young people do? If you like to help people, you want to serve your people, you want to help your people, learn to read, learn to write, put your phone down every once in a while, learn to drive, speak. The other thing is communication skills.
Yeah.
You got to have the communication skills. I was a police officer at age 25. I didn't have those skills. I was dealing with people who were 40, 50, 60 years old. I wasn't a mother. I was an auntie, but I wasn't an uncle. I didn't play those roles yet. I hadn't been married, didn't have any children, didn't know what it was like. So I saw things as it was. Like, you know what, you two aren't getting along because you're doing this to each other. And one day I was very honest when I responded to a call. I was very honest about that. And I made a remark I shouldn't have made, but it was the truth. And when I made that remark, the man and the wife were going at each other.
Yeah.
And when I made that remark and told the truth, what do you think they did?
They get more upset? Yeah.
And who'd they get upset at?
You?
Me.
You,
for telling
because
the truth.
because you saw the situation, you know what's going on, and you said, this is the problem.
Yeah.
And then they said, how dare you tell us what the problem is?
Yes.
We're looking for a solution that's in favor of us,
Yeah.
not the real problem,
Yeah.
which is usually hard, right?
Yes.
The solution is usually the hard one.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it.
They don't.
It's like, because I was telling somebody else about the Grand Canyon effect. It's fun going down. It's easy going down. But eventually you have to go back up.
Yeah.
And that's not the fun part.
Yeah. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
All right, young people, let me share this with you. When I became a police officer, I got hired by Navajo Nation in 1 week. I had to go to the police academy. I had to do a physical agility test. I didn't run. I couldn't do push-ups, sit-ups, all that good stuff. But the first day we were there, we had to do sit-ups and push-ups. And back then it was by age. So the younger you were, the more you had to do. So I had to do over 20-something, maybe almost 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups. I didn't do it. I didn't pass. And they told us when we started this journey at the academy, if you don't pass one section, you're out, you're gone, you're going home. It's up to your police department if they want to keep you or not and send you back. And that's at the back of your mind thinking, oh,
yeah, it's like all or nothing.
All or nothing. And what am I getting myself into? What did I get myself into? What am I going to do here?
Like, why did I put all this pressure on myself? Because I signed up for this.
Yes.
And then there's no one else to blame because you signed up for it.
Yeah. So I had to take it or leave it. So then we got done with the push-ups, and they chased everybody out of the gym. And they told me to stay. Cadet Bradley, you stay. And I'm standing there like, I'm going home. I'm going home. There's no answer for buts. So then all the bigwigs, from the captains to the sergeants to the officers that ran the academy, they're all standing over there in the corner. And they're talking about me.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at me, making comments. And then they look at me. Then after about maybe 5 minutes, the officer who was our counselor, she came over. And she stood in front of me. And I'm standing at attention. Never stood at attention. Don't know what military life is. I'm standing at attention. And I'm standing there, and she looks at me. She says, Cadet Bradley, we're going to give you a chance because we see something in you. So we're going to let you do the push-ups again on your knees. If you pass it, then you can stay. And I'm standing there, and you can't lose it. I can't say, wow, good job. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
I just stand there at attention. So I'm thinking, oh, shit, I got another chance.
Yeah.
So I did it. I pushed it out, and I passed. So they chased me out. The next day was a 1.5-mile run. So they said, run. So we had to run 6 laps around the track.
Yeah.
So by the 4th lap, I'm about to die. I'm
Yeah.
like, no way. Then every lap they call out our time.
Yeah.
So the 4th lap, they said, you have 2 minutes left, just over 2 minutes
Yeah,
left.
you
I'm
get
like,
2
no
minute
way.
lap.
I'm not going to do this. Everybody's finishing.
Yeah.
I'm dragging my butt. And I'm thinking, there's no way in hell I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So the 5th lap, 5.5 laps, I had half a lap to go. Those 2 officers, the sergeant and the officer, they came. I was halfway done. I had only half a track left, and I'm about to die.
Yeah.
So they came out, they ran with me, and they pushed me the last quarter lap. Pushed my butt, made me run,
Yeah.
and if I was going to die, I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I made it
Nice.
by 1 second.
Nice.
1 second.
Nice.
So I got to stay in the academy. I started learning about politics, and my husband and I helped this one candidate who had come here. She was campaigning to be a congressman for our district. So my husband saw that she was going to be at the Quality Inn doing an event, a meet and greet. So we went down there and we met her, and I really liked her goals, objectives, what she wanted to do, and why she was in politics. And she's a veteran too. So she talked about that, and came out, and what really got my attention was she's a non-native. She's running for office for our area, and she's the first one that I knew of that ever came to the reservation. Doya Shonda Bilagana, but we live like the Bilagana now. But yet they say Doya Shonda. Why? When you adopted all that. We wouldn't have technology, we wouldn't have electricity, we wouldn't have water in our homes, we wouldn't have streets that you want good roads.
So what are your thoughts as a woman in the United States about the Roe v. Wade?
Overturn.
Yeah, overturn, yes.
That's why they say children are precious. Children are our future because they absorb everything they see from us as adults. We got Trump elected. I'm going to say that you're the first person I've said this to and said it out loud. We got Trump elected.